I ran short on supplies for our bench. We don't have any 4x4s to support it, so I have to go run and get some. We're gonna have to move that pitch out of the...
Oh, I'll be fine.
Sometimes it's hard to remember everything you need on a project, or you think you have something and you really don't. It's just, you buy so much lumber over a year. Oh yeah, man, I've got those on the job site. And we're getting to the point where we're building these benches and we have to elevate them. I'm like, all right, grab a 4x4 and start cutting those up. And Andy's like, we don't have any 4x4s. I'm like, what do you mean? And it's my job to make sure supplies are always on site for every day that we need to work. And I just came up short. So we're running up to the local Home Depot. I probably have enough 4x4 scraps at my house, but I don't have time to go back to my house. I'm just gonna go to the closest place I can to grab some 4x4s so that we can keep on keeping on this project. I'm driving a 1996 GMC W4, which is similar to an Isuzu cab-over style truck. I bought it brand new in 1997. It had like, I don't know, 800 miles on it or something like that. And yeah, I was much younger in my career, so this truck has served us well. I've had 4 transmissions, and I finally just replaced the motor. It's got 160,000 miles on it. My wife was thinking, you know, maybe it'd be better if you just bought yourself a new truck. But I ended up, you know, blew the motor, running up to Lake Tapps all the time with lots of materials. She was getting tired, so ended up sucking a couple valves or something, going up these steep inclines with way too much weight on the truck. I've put a lot of weight on the rack, and we've towed a ton of weight with it. It has a dump, so that's kind of nice. So anytime we have a demolition on a deck, we load it in the back of the truck, and then we can either take it to a recyclery or straight to the dump, and it just makes things convenient. I just had the tailgates repaired and had hinges put on them because they're kind of heavy. They're out of steel, so now they're welded to the corners of the truck. So now I don't have to pull the tailgates out. And it's just like, after a full day, man, you're getting old like I am, man. Your shoulders hurt, your arms hurt, your legs hurt, and all the broken Achilles and all the tendons you've torn and ripped and stuff. And so that's kind of nice that we're not having to do that. The truck has been pretty good. I had to have all the fuel injectors replaced in it. That was a long time ago. And then, of course, a new motor. Lots of new transmissions. I've had the lift, the dump bed pump replaced, rebuilt. Had a few batteries in it, you know, standard stuff like that. But it's a really rough ride. So you go down a bumpy street, man, you're gonna feel every single bump in it. There's not much suspension. There's no AC in it. It's just really a working truck, construction truck. So I drive this a lot. My other truck has been in the shop for quite some time, about 7 or 8 months. I have these guys up north doing some ridiculous work to it. We're putting 700 horsepower to the motor, and I didn't really need to do that. In hindsight, I probably should have just got it fixed, but it's a completely different vehicle now, so it's too late to change. I'll just gonna keep that vehicle as well. So I'm just gonna keep my older rigs until this one, you know, hopefully God forbid I'll never wreck it, I'll never total it, but you know, eventually it's probably gonna be time to retire this, and hopefully retire myself. If not, then we'll just keep using it and abusing it until it falls off, until the wheels fall off. It gets about 6 miles, 7 miles to the gallon, so super economy. It's something you get used to. You know, your range isn't that great, but it's just a big box that you can hold a lot of stuff with. So you can haul a ton of things with it. So that's why I have it.
think they'll let me film in there?
I don't know. Why not? It's really frustrating when $20 holds up the rest of your day.
What do you think of Home Depot as just a store?
Well, I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard that like tools they sell, they usually take a loss on. I don't know if that's true or not. But I know that like if you're in a pinch and you need a power tool or something, usually it's a pretty good price. But their lumber pricing sucks, in my opinion. I can get a better price from my standard lumber supplier, but there's several, quite a few miles away from me. So for a couple of 4x4s, it's not worth their time or my time to wait. I just need to get it right away. So I only use Home Depot for urgency situations where either it's past the time of day that my lumberyard's open, or if I'm in a pinch like I am today where I just need some 4x4s real straight quick and I don't feel like either going back to my house. We aren't working too far from my house, but it was just faster to come here, get the stuff, and get back to the job site so that I don't have a bunch of guys standing around. I could have done something else, but to kind of get a section of the deck completed that we're working on next, sorry about that. It's kind of where I needed to go. So I gotta create a little bit of time where the guys have something to do so I can cut out the stair jacks and then create the staircase. We want to get the staircase in soon because we're tired of climbing ladders. We want to start using the stairs to get up and down off the deck, that kind of thing. Starting to get down to the nitty gritty on stuff, so trying to start developing a punch list. And when you leave too many loose ends on a large project, on a custom project like this, it starts to grind on you a little bit. So I'm trying not to let that get to me too much. But I keep forgetting these little things. Oh yeah, forgot about that. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. And then on this job was permitted, so we have to have a final inspection done. And if there's anything we forget for the final inspection and the inspector catches it, then we won't get our final. We'll have to continue whatever he says. Hey, you forgot to do this, or you need to add this, or I don't like the way this is done. You'll have to blah blah blah. So usually I don't get too many of those blah blah blahs, but once in a while, depending on the inspector, we might get a request to fix something. Usually they come in, look at our action, and go, "Huh, this is really nice," and sign it off and have a good day, and that's that.
Does that happen for every deck?
No. Certain decks aren't required to get a building permit, and in certain circumstances, we may not apply. But I try to obey the rules. But sometimes my client's like, "Hey, this county wants to charge us $10,000 for a shoreline revision because I want to replace my deck that's already." But since I live on a lake and the code has gotten so strict in the last 20 years, they're not going to let me replace the deck I already have in the exact configuration. I just want a new one. So if we apply for this $10,000 permit, and then they're not going to guarantee me that they're going to let me build my deck, and it's going to take 6 months, which blows my whole summer, and the whole reason I live on this lake is for summer. Hey man, I get it. And if my client says build the deck, I'll suffer the consequences. I'm like, all right. So I've done that a few times, and with in my contract stating that we're not getting a building permit, it's completely on the homeowner if something happens. If they say tear the deck down, it's not our fault. You still have to pay me, that kind of stuff. So Just kind of depends on the situation. But you know, we've got a few permits to pull. Sometimes you have to get engineering for those permits, so that's a whole nother ball of wax. So a good engineer is always helpful, one that can be there for you and answer your questions. I've got a guy that's not too shabby. I've had a couple instances where permitting took way too long. Like certain jurisdictions, I can go in and get a permit in a couple days. I used to be able to get them at the counter in certain jurisdictions, cities, municipalities. But now everybody is so scared they're going to get sued. Again, another thing that's happened is we've had to go to online permitting for several of our cities, and then we have to get a a business license for each city we work in. Even though I live in this city and operate out of one city, for every permit I pull in a different city, I have to pull their city business license, which I don't agree with. I don't think it's right. It's just another way to take the contractor's money. And it is what it is. But I think the one thing I did was I made the mistake of going online to Twitter one time, and I was like, shame on you, city of such and such. It's been over 30 days since I've applied for this. You're you're taking money out of, or food out of my mouth, which was all true. But I probably should have just not said anything, because then it caused a stir up inside their management, and it didn't help me. It didn't help me get it any faster. I had to get somebody else involved, because this lady, I just couldn't deal with her. She was just the biggest pain, and she didn't care. She didn't care about me, my time frame, nothing. And I thought it was a generous amount of time that they had to approve this permit, and it just ended up being a cluster mess. And so I don't ever try to pull permits in one certain city because they're just difficult. There's no need to be that difficult. Everywhere else, most people are pretty cool, pretty nice. They just want to get their cut, and then the county wants to reassess your real estate and charge you more in taxes. It's all going to cost you in the end, no matter what, it seems like. So that's what it is.
Death and taxes.
Can't escape them.
You really can feel every bump.
Yeah. Isn't it ridiculous?
You're over there.
Oh yeah, they come around here once in a while.